Yeah.
Okay, we're back with this. Again, you can see the very, very strong winds. We've got a new severe thunderstorm warning.
This is to the west of Cortland
Okay.
for that. And that's for that storm that we haven't been focused on this one all too much. That one has wind speeds that could be up to 60 miles an hour. Also, it's had a history of some half-dollar size hail, but I would consider the one near Franklin right now with the strong winds, and also where we had that tornado warning earlier. That warning was allowed to expire, but there's a new one that was just issued that does include Perquimans County, and that is also into northeast North Carolina. If we could switch to Max 2, please, and we'll take a look at what's going on with that particular storm. So we have
a new tornado.
And we'll focus in on the tornado warning.
Yep, there you go. It's up.
Okay, they've just updated the one toward the north of Edenton.
Ricky, this is moving 20 miles an hour. Don, do you have that number, that forward
still
speed?
moving around 20 miles per hour to the north and east, so I'll get a storm track on here for you.
Okay, so we're looking into this area right here. That's the area where we have that rotation. Here's the area included in the warning. Hancock here included in that, towards Perquimans Central School at 5:40. So 40 minutes from now, it's a slow-moving storm. It's time to seek shelter in that room, that lowest level of your house, in a room without windows. So get away from those exterior walls, go into that interior closet or that interior pantry type area into your home.
Under your steps.
Yeah, under your stairs.
Under your steps. Get off. Get off the second floor. Get any kids napping off the second floor. Get everybody off the second floor if you're in the path of this storm. If you're in an apartment complex and you got 2 floors, get to the center of your apartment.
Exactly. Here's a little quick tip on tornado safety once again. You want to go to that interior room. The hallway is a good spot to be, obviously not a deck. This is not a type of storm where you can run outside and try and get a quick picture of it. Don't do that. It's time to go inside because there's a lot of rain wrapping around the storm system. When we look at the velocity, the storm wind, where's the wind moving? A lot of lightning with this storm right now in this area north of town, just north of Edenton. That's where we see the most amount of rotation. So right along Route 17, more so north side of town, but into Edenton, you're going to get some wind from this, and it's still highly advised that you go into that safe room because remember, we have the rotation here. That doesn't mean that the tornado is going to stay right there. It can wiggle a little bit. So that's why when you're in that warning, you want to seek shelter immediately. That wiggle, you can see how it fans out. So we're watching this spot closely, as that's where we have the rotation. Is there any signature on storm debris with that?
Over to that? Not seeing anything there.
No, not seeing anything. So what we would want to look for here is when we look at the key at the top, the legend, we'd want to look at a hole that's green, a circle that would be kind of like this. That's a classic sign where the tornado might be located. We're not seeing that right now.
No.
We're seeing a couple of splotches of yellow. So something that we'll watch for. The view on reflectivity, Don and Ricky, it's not looking as tight as it did a little bit ago.
The rotation's not as tight, but this is clearly a supercell thunderstorm. And let me loop it here, and you can see how it, look at the top part of it, just to the north of Edenton, all those bright colors, how they fan out. That's the thunderstorm growing up in size. And supercell thunderstorms can cycle, so they can get some rotation, may weaken for a little bit, and then it re-strengthens again. So these storms, even though they may not have the tight rotation at this exact second, they can quickly get it back. That's why if you're in this tornado warning from Hertford down into Edenton along 17, want to make sure you're taking shelter as the storm progresses up to the north and east. Don?
Yeah, we're still getting it in terms of velocity, and this is on Max 1. I've got a loop of time here to the northwest of Edenton. Again, a very, very definite inflow, inbound and outbound off of this whole thing that's moving on northeastward at about 25 miles an hour for this particular one. I'm going to stop motion on this, and again, it's to the north and northwest of the Edenton area, and again with a 25-mile-an-hour forward movement on this particular thing, we'll give you an idea of what's going on with that. And I have to readjust because these storms are moving at different rates through the region. Some are moving fast at 40, 45 miles an hour, and this particular area is likely to lift toward Hertford, for example, and that toward the Hertford area at about 5:30. So you're Edenton, you're not out of the woods. You're certainly looking better than Barber is, or even Hertford. If this survives all the way to Hertford, you folks in Hertford watch it very, very carefully, and anywhere between, in between where the storm is and Barber and Hertford right now, for the possibility again of a very dangerous thunderstorm lifting northeastward, even if it does not contain a tornado, which it does look like it could be still a tornado. There's still some rotation certainly within this, even if it's not an actual tornado on the ground. It is a rotating thunderstorm, a supercell. So again, it can indeed have some very, very damaging winds out of that particular area. You can see all the lightning associated with it as well. I'll make the lightning here a little bit smaller so you can see what's going on with this storm as we move on in. And you can see again, it's not quite as impressive, but still very impressive as it lifts on off to the northeast at about 25 miles an hour. I want to go back on up toward the Franklin area and watch this one as well.
And I just want to add, we just got a report of 1-inch size hail, quarter-size hail coming in from Franklin.
From Franklin, okay.
Yes.
Earlier, by the way, we had mentioned, but we had noticed, and I'd noticed it earlier. I think Ricky had noticed it earlier, pointed it out. Look at this wind shift line, little sea breeze coming in off the James River. It could interact with some of this. You can see it's throwing out an outflow boundary on down into here. So any of this could interact and blow it up even more as it lifts on off to the northeast. Any of these little boundary lines that are out there. So again, we'll really want to watch this carefully. I'm going to stop motion on this. We're now going to go to the Franklin area and move on in closer and have a look at what's going on with these severe thunderstorm warnings into here over the town of Franklin. Jeff, how big was the hail?
Quarter-size hail, 1 inch.
Quarter-size hail, around 1 inch out of that particular area. We're now going to stop and just look for some winds, see what we can see as far as winds. I had huge winds out of this earlier, winds over hurricane force a little bit earlier, and I think we're seeing some really quite strong winds on up even toward the Carsville area. Some of these green areas are not showing up real well in terms of the winds, but again, I think we are seeing some winds stronger than that as it lifts on northeastward at about 45 miles an hour. And in terms of hail, yep, we're seeing hail right on in over the Franklin area, and that'll likely lift northward as well. Here is the radar, and as you can see, again, lots and lots of lightning and thunder. And also we've added in this gray area right here, you can see some of the hail going on into Franklin as well. This gray area that's showing up is indeed some hail going on. That particular severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 5:45 in the evening. Now, okay, yeah, Ricky's going to drive for me. Thank you, sir. And a look at what's going on with that particular area. Again, this highly populated area, we are seeing this lift northeastward at about 45 miles an hour on up toward Route 460. There could be some explosive development into here as well. There's some indications that as things get closer to 460, there could be some further development as it moves toward Ivor, again, in the upcoming hour or so, and farther northward from there.
Don,
yes.
Something I was just pointing out to Jeff behind the scenes here. We do have two outflow boundaries. Let me loop this for us. And if you look, there's a gust front that's come out of these storms to the south. And then we were talking about that sea breeze earlier. That's now approaching Waverly.
Yeah.
So as you were mentioning, you know, as these storms kind of get into kind of this area here, we'll have to really watch to see if any of them have the potential to tap into some of that wind coming from different directions.
Plus the fact that there's also, Ricky, in this area, off of this one that's come off the James River, this could indeed extend a little bit farther southward, and we don't even see it on the radar.
Exactly.
So this one over Franklin has been a nasty storm. That could get even nastier as it lives northeastward.
We're about 30 lightning strikes in the last 5 minutes with that storm over Franklin. That storm is also, you can see farther to the north over the James River, there's some general thunderstorm activity entering areas into Newport News. No warning on that. We're keeping an eye on that.
No lightning yet.
I see one. I see one, maybe two strikes.
One. Yeah,
but something that we'll watch for, but not severe right now. The storm over Franklin, a lot of wind, some hail with that, and then the storm that's farther to the south near Edenton with the tornado warning. That storm has a lot of lightning with it. I'll just do a quick count here, Don, and I'll let you continue pointing at it. That one has 59 strikes in the last 5 minutes.
Okay. This does not look quite as impressive as it did just 5 minutes ago in terms of wind out of this one. But Hertford, you're very, very likely to get some strong damaging winds, even if it's not a tornado. Again, this is a rotating supercell, a very, very strong thunderstorm that has created a tornado. There is still a tornado warning in effect until 5:30 out of this as it moves on to the northeast at about 20 miles an hour. So the town of Hertford A beautiful town of Hertford. In 20 minutes, it's 5:09 right now, or 5:10. What we're looking at is about 5:30 for Hertford. For Yopum Station, around 5:21, and Barber, again, right now, it looks like around 5:11, so really any minute. Loads of lightning out of this particular storm. It's still got that notch in it, but not quite as evident. Now, Edenton, you have not entirely dodged the bullet. You've got likely some strong winds into the area. You're getting some rain. You're getting kind of the tail of this as it moves on through here as well any minute. No particular nastiness out of that, not as much nastiness coming in out of that. Farther to the south of the Albemarle Sound out toward Plymouth, there is indeed a tornado warning. We'll have to watch for that as well. As that lifts northeastward, it could lift on up across the Albemarle Sound and on up toward Perquimans and Pasquotank counties and Camden County in North Carolina. Let's go back up to the Franklin area and have a look at what's going on there for any signs of trouble here. This severe thunderstorm warning, you can see some of that hail that we had at the edge of Franklin, western edge of Franklin is now on up into here. Really see some strong winds up into here out of that. And that particular area, we could see winds gusting in excess of 50 miles an hour out of this particular area that just lifted northward out of Franklin. Yeah, 53-mile-an-hour winds, 54-mile-an-hour winds, and it's right along the county line or just west of the county line. Can we zoom in on that area right on into here where we are seeing it, the hail, toward the Black Creek area? That's where we're seeing some extremely strong winds. Walters, you're not out of it either as well. And we're seeing some hail. It's not huge hail, but nonetheless it is hail. It's likely a little bit under an inch hail, so likely small marble size hail, bigger than pea size hail out of this, probably about 7/8 of an inch size by the color. It's now listing it a little bit farther northward, so that warning in effect until 5:45. It's not looking quite as concentrated, but we're getting more wind out of that. Can we look at this one too, toward the Boykins area? Thank you. We're looking at a severe thunderstorm warning here until 5:45. Heavy rain, some lightning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lightning strikes out of this in the Boykins and Severn area. Could we have a look at that? And again, we'll storm track that one.
Got to zoom out a little bit. We
Okay.
don't have enough room to draw the track, so let me
Okay.
zoom out and I'll draw you the storm track there. And
Looks
then,
like it's got an outflow boundary there
yeah,
next to it.
we'll switch the velocity here in a second.
Up toward Capron move my big head so you can see it, 5:26. Joyner at 5:38. Little Texas, 5:12. So you're getting rain any minute. You're already getting some rainfall. Now let's widen the picture out if we could. Well, we'll look at the wind within this. There's that wind north of Franklin that we showed you not that long ago. Some wind into the Boykins area, though, as well, around 41 miles an hour out of this particular area. So again, some big-time winds going on up into here. Now, if we can go back to regular radar and just to allay any fears you might have over Newport News, you've had some big thunderstorms. A couple of days ago, you had big thunderstorms. These are thunderstorms. Yes, there's thunder and lightning. Not a great deal of thunder and lightning, but nothing real big there. I just want to tell you that because we've got a lot of people right here and let you know that, again, there's nothing huge going on for you right now. But stay tuned. These can develop very rapidly. The bigger picture, again, showing you what is going on. There's a broad arc now of it's kind of bowing on out.
And it looks like it's kind of splitting a little bit into two different spots.
Yeah, it does. One spot down into here. And this area is producing rain, and it's likely to cool things off out ahead of it. So it's not likely to really see big thunderstorms develop into this area as this spreads some general rainfall. But this area, very big thunderstorms. Obviously, this area, very big thunderstorms lifting northeastward. This area is lifting rapidly northward, and this likely will as well. There's a front into here, right on through here, so where it's 80 degrees or in the low 80s for some areas to the south of this arc. Right through here. That's pretty much where we are seeing, again,